longer than anticipated. If I'm fully truthful with you, part of that time, uh, me looking around for my tripod. I still haven't found my tripod. This is my skirt. I'm like, damn it. Honest with that, anybody that knows me really well knows that is the case. If I can find that in the next few minutes, then hey, good to go. If not, then let me look in here. Hi, buddies. Hey, what's everybody doing? Jimmy, Frank, Christopher. Maybe I took it upstairs. I can't imagine why in the hell I would have taken it upstairs, but happens. Let me look. Oh shit! I took it upstairs. I finally found it. Of all places, I don't know why it's up here, but it is. Ugh! That is a win for me. All right, guys. Now we can really get this ball rolling. So I'm sure the video quality probably sucks right now. There we are. Hey, that's so much better. All right, guys. So I'm back. Uh, and yeah, we had a really shitty day that we shared. You know what? That film came out literally, pretty much the day we found it, if you count as after midnight as a new day. We found it during feeding time, and we were feeding slightly late because of the wife's birthday. So we were feeding on Saturday instead of Sunday, or instead of Friday. Saturday night into Sunday morning kind of thing. And that sucks. But you can't let things like that keep you on the ground. You can't. I mean, I think we learn a lot of things from sports. I do anyway. I'm a big sports nut. One of those old things they always say is, the quarterback's got to have a short memory. When you throw an interception, you got to shake it off, get ready for the next play, right? But it's kind of true in life. I can't focus. I mean, you got to learn when you make some mistake. Although I don't think this was any mistake I made. I think it was just part of the deal. Not that I've never made mistakes in this. I have. I've learned from them. But you got to learn from it. But you got to forget about the sense, and you can't dwell on that moment, right? You got to keep going forward. So as far as the egg cutting, I see a few of you, Christopher, Jason, you guys asked how it went. Went pretty well. My shorter egg cutting videos. I'll be honest, doing an egg cutting video sucks right now. And the reason it sucks, I'd rather do it here, where, I have everything, pull it out, I'm in my environment, and we can cut, we can do it like we normally do. And with the transition, which we're 95% done, the one thing that's not done is the incubator's not moved. We can't move the incubator until the incubator's empty. So the goal is to get everything out of there. And when the first time the incubator's empty, I am going to move it here. That way it's here, and and everything's contained in my own little environment, and I can work out of here. And so then the egg cutting's will be better. I think we did pretty good, but it's impossible to really know how well we did. And the reason I say that is the main gene we're looking for in that is scaleless head, right? Scaleless head makes or breaks any one of those for um, the purpose of hitting the odds. Yes, Jimmy, I do have to transport the eggs back to the house, so it's a tedious thing, and that's why I was hoping to get everything done and in there before we did the move. But it just wasn't going to work out that way. We had to get it done before then, just the way things were going. So it made the last 6 or 7 clutches are going to be tedious. So far, so good on those moves. But again, we kind of learn as we do that. And we won't know if we hit the scaleless head odds until those babies are out. And I really get a chance to inspect them. They even get a chance to have their first shed, because a scaleless head to scaleless head always equals a scaleless, right? Well, not always, but I mean, if the homozygous version is always scaleless. It doesn't really matter how apparent the scaleless head is. And the scaleless head is there's a lot of variation in how apparent. Some of them, there's a big old patch of missing scales. You go, fuck, that scaleless head. Others, it's a small patch. Others, there's really not a patch missing. The scales are just small, and you can see the skin in between them. And then, of course, you'll have the split anal vent. So until those animals are out, they got that first shed, got that baby skin off of them, I really get a chance to really inspect them. We're going to probably hold off on saying this is or this isn't The apparent ones will say this is. Anything not as apparent, we're going to go eh, and then we'll figure it out when the time comes. What the fuck does this button do? Oh, all right, let's me change stuff. I don't want to do that. So yes, that is kind of where that's at. So I don't know. I don't know. I do know we did get, I think, at least one spinner blast. I don't know if we hit a killer spinner or not. It's so hard to tell inside there. Of course, everything's pastel. We got at least one, I think, straight super pastel. We've got one that is, I think, going to be at least a super blast. It's just, they're going to have to come out. They are. And a lot of that's not stuff I've worked with before. So it's, I've worked with all those genes, but not always together, right? Yeah, I know. I was like, what is this? But it was a little inverted colors. So anyway, the darkness, David, is doing really well. I expect her, I expect everything to go pretty soon. I mean, take a peek at her. Ain't no reason why we can't. So I'll show you all the girls I'm still waiting on. Let me flip you around. We are waiting on this girl. This is the other scaleless head clutch. And as you can see, she is in the position. She's coiled tail. You can see lumpy over there. Definitely going to rock out for us. This was one I'd hoped to have an outside chance on, but I don't think it's going to happen, although she did just shed. And she is laying on the warmth in a nice tight coil, but her feed records say probably not. And she barely got to size this year, so I don't think she was going to go in. We did take a small shot at her, mostly to get her ready for next season. This is one we'd hoped on, but she's not going to go. She was also bred with the scaleless head. This is one we bred that's not going to go. We did have a couple not go on us. And then other ones that I know are going to go. Where did you all go? Oh, this one, Lesser Ghost, is definitely going to go. You can see she's in there. She's ready to rock. So it'll be our second ghost clutch. So we'll have a lot of visual ghosts, boom, boom, dropping right away, hopefully. And of course, David, the one you're waiting on, is right there. And you can still see that swell. Everything's moved to where it's supposed to be. There's your tail wrapped inside. So I do think she is getting, you can really kind of see it. The weight's really low. So she's a little ways off, but she's going to go. So that is kind of where things are. So we got clutch 19 we dropped the other day. And then we've got clutches 20 through 22 coming, which isn't a bad year. I mean, what we always look for is growth. And I'm not trying to grow super fast. I'm still, because, man, I'm glad I didn't. I mean, I saw somebody comment today, and they said they were a kid. They said they were like 13 or 14 years old. I think they said they were 13 when they started watching us, and we inspired them to do this. And they said they're 14 now, and they have a collection of 100 snakes. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. It means exactly what it sounds like. And I'm just thinking, damn, I couldn't imagine having to take care of this at 14. I don't know if I'd have been responsible enough. I don't know if I would have had the time. Of course, I was a kid that was involved in a lot of stuff, being a small town kid. And even now, like, we need to add slowly, but, we're going to see what happens. So I would say the percentage is pretty good, truth be told. You didn't eat your little mouse. Overall, our first few years we did 100% across the board. We bred a female, she laid. We thought, we got this, and, and then of course it slows down. I think once you get over maybe 15 animals breeding, you're gonna have some miss, and you're gonna have some that once they bred a few years, gonna take a few years off. So we can kind of go through. I mean, there's no sense we won't. We'll kind of just through what we bred hard. So this year, Benaya was bred hard. She's a top one. She just laid. Hestia was bred like fully, ready to go. She's about to lay. The Lesser Ghost was bred hard. She's about to lay. Andromeda was bred hard. She laid. Pastel Xanthic was bred a handful of times. It was mostly the very end of the year. She hit weight. We kind of were slow on it because she barely got there. We weren't pushing the issue. I don't think she's going to go. I didn't really expect it. So that would be one I wouldn't like say, we missed on. We didn't expect it. Calypso was bred hard. She's not going to go. So that's one we're missing on out of how many of her. Aurora was bred hard. She's not going to go. That's her second year not going. We'll switch up the male next year. She is proven. Both those are proven, so I think maybe that's the issue there. Juno we missed on. It was kind of this rack, and you're going to see it get a lot better, I promise this sounds terrible. And she's a proven female, so is what it is. Parthenos went. Sin did not go, but she's also one I'm not ready to rule out yet. Although she took a big Duke back there, I got to clean up. Ew. I'll get that here in a minute. So we'll see on that. She's always one of the last ones, so she may still get the job done. Probably not. We're probably gonna miss on her. Persephone went. Killer Bee female went. Celine went. The Pied went. Pandora, we bred her hard. She went. That was a recent acquisition. Wasn't bred. That was the Onyx. The female Super Lesser wasn't bred. I think we might have put the Mystic Potion to her once or twice at the very end. I mean, no, we never even saw a lock. We were past the season. The Mojave went. Minerva went. Hetru Ghost went. Calypse went. Lesser Pastel went. Nike went. And an albino female was another one we bred at the very end of the year with very low expectations. Didn't go. Cleo was one we bred. Low expectations went. Het Pied not. So the normal went. Past Leopard recent acquisition didn't go. Eris, which was the adult female we lost in the unlabeled tub. She went. Demeter went. Black Pastel Spider recent acquisition wasn't bred. Alithia went. And then this Het Caramel was another, or that's Trouser, that's a male. We had another Het Caramel that we bred off and on, and also went. And then the third one we bred off and on didn't go. So, all in all, I mean, we missed probably, I'd say a little more this year than what I would normally miss or feel comfortable with. But it was a lot of new females. And some of the ones we missed, I think I know why. Aurora, you know, I think we missed her because I think it's a problem with her and the male together. And I say that because her first year she went, and then her second year she didn't. And we were using the Blitz male. Her third year she didn't, and we were using the Blitz male. I still think Blitz Orange Dream is completely possible and doable. I just think that male and her may not be. There may be something there that she's just not receptive, or she doesn't see his sperm as viable and she's kicking it out. Who knows? Who knows? So I'll put her to a different male this coming year. And, you know, maybe the scaleless head. Probably not, because I want to make sure and get him to some things that will weigh. And we'll figure out what's going on with it. So that's kind of my plan anyway. The scaleless head will probably get the normal that doesn't get the Suma. Because you guys voted on the Suma. So we'll probably do that. We'll probably do a few other things with it this coming season. So, all right. So what do you guys want to know about what's going on here? I mean, I kind of showed you updating all the females. We'll be moving 5 Pied babies over. We did lose one. So we had 6 Pied babies recently. The one we lost had a kink in the neck that prevented it from taking in any moisture. Is, I believe, the cause of the death. So, and you can see that because it appeared to go dehydrated and pass. So everything else was working fine. And, you know, kink will do that. If it's pushing on the esophagus or closing it off, it prevents that. Problem solved. Or not problem solved, mystery solved, I guess. And then, you know, we did lose. So, you know, that's going to be it, right? Can you see the JHI Mojave girl? Yes. You're talking about the one that our keep back girl? Is that the one you're talking about? It's doing good. Clutch 1 identification, I'll be honest. And she finally ate in her new tub. She took a little while, but you finally did, didn't you, girl? Super Black Pastel stuff is cooking. And it seems to be cooking fine. I really haven't been there since the one egg went bad, that we kind of weren't surprised to see go bad. As far as Clutch 1 identification, nothing's really showing a whole lot of purple. It's hard for me to think we hit purely Super Mojaves on that. But we apparently did. So we will be parting with those. We'll probably be doing a clutch update on that and just selling them as they are. This is what we know they can be, but they could also be this, and they're guaranteed to have one or the other kind of thing. 17, and we just did 14. 15. It's probably about 2 weeks away. Well, maybe 3 weeks, and honestly, it may take longer. Which JHI Mojave are you talking about? So I don't think I have any sisters to that one. That was one that was purely mine. Some of you guys need to eat your meals I put in there for you. Are you talking about this little one? Yeah, 190204. It's doing good, but as you can see, it decided not to eat this week. We got a pink in there with it. We were hoping it would eat, but it's not doing it. It's probably going to get a full whatchamacallit, a full like tub swap. That'll probably help it get going. And because I think was that the one we just talked about literally a second? Let me get a weight for you on that, and we'll see if the weight's good. And if the weight's good, we'll plan on shipping it on Monday. I'm pretty certain it is. So I'm pretty certain I weighed it before we did that, and we'll go there. But I would like to try to get it to eat one more meal because I don't like to ship them when they're not feeding so well. I may also swap this rat pink out with a mouse we've got. Since you were asking about this one, here you go, little buddy. Yeah, it's at 114. So if you're ready for it, we could ship that to you on Monday. It's doing good. It's been eating most of its meals, with the occasionally telling me to go pack sand. So definitely ready to rock and roll. Let me turn that back. All right. So yeah, there you go. And that is not the sister to mine. Well, I guess it'd be not a sibling, but probably would be a sister. A zoo update video soon? Oh, we probably could. I mean, there's not really much different in there, you know. And as far as the timber, David, don't stress about them timbers, man. And mine does that to me all the time. And he'll literally, when I first got him, he took to feeding. He fed like a beast after about a second or third week I had him. Excuse me. And he put on a lot of weight, and he just shut down. Boop. And he tends to do that. He tends to go through a few months of shutdown and a few months of feeding hardcore. And as you guys saw the other day when we did the live feeding, he doesn't want to eat right now. And it ended up being a real pain in the butt, and I had to pull him all the way out, and it was a shit show. But he's so damn strong. But they don't eat a ton, but they'll grow when you feed them. And just when they're almost like a, I don't want to say seasonal, but it is kind of seasonal, I guess, for them on feeding. So pack food in when you can, and then when they're not, don't worry about it. As long as you'll go a long time. A timber Tesla is one of the rattlesnakes. Well, let's go look at it. So a timber, we refer to that. It is, you want to get it all Latin, it's Horridus. It could be Curulus horridus or Curulus horridus horridus. Got rid of one. And I'll show you my buddy here. And this was my first ever venomous snake. You can see his head. He's kind of in his hide right now, hanging out. So doing really well. I think he's also getting close to shedding. So that is a timber. They're fairly docile for a rattlesnake typically, but not always. Mine tends to be pretty good, pretty well behaved. We've got one at our zoo that's horrible. It is horrible. It's every bit as bad as any Western I've ever had, with the exception of Kali. So, but they are a big one. They're not a small rattlesnake. They're one of the larger. I mean, you kind of have. I could be missing one in here. The size-wise, depending on who you talk to, it's going to go Eastern or Western. It depends what you're using to measure. Eastern heavier, the heaviest rattlesnake ever. They are also, on average, the longest rattlesnake. But the longest example of a rattlesnake is actually a Western. So Westerns hold the record for the longest, even though on average Easterns are longer, and Easterns are obviously heavier. Timbers are coming in third on all those size metrics. So the timber is not a small rattlesnake. They can touch up to about 6, although that's uncommon. I do believe the Western that holds the record was damn close to 8, which is a big, big snake. But that is like, it's like finding Andre the Giant in the snake world. I know, David. I'm serious. I'm really waiting. I have some old cages I'm thinking about just redoing and setting up in there as well to get 2 spots for the time being. They're not TGR. They're these old black ones with the front opening thing. They're not my favorite things, but they do work really well. So I might do that just to get by, because it's not just for Kali. So Kali gets a new cage, right? That'll happen. I may not retire that cage, but she needs a new one. She's outgrown that thing. She's too thick for it this way. Lengthwise, it's great. Then the Gaboon will get its final cage. So, and Kali will probably get a like the Gaboon size cage. So I've got one more of them that's supposed to be here in 2 6-foots. So when that one arrives, and then the Gaboon moves to a 6-foot, then I'll have one empty 3-foot still. And then the other 6-foot will be for my male carpet python for now. Eventually, my female carpet python, and they'll swap. One will end up in a 6, one will end up in a 4 down the road. That's long-term planning. And So I'll end up with one empty 3 foot right now. Well, if I can get those two ready, then I'll have two empty plus one other one. And what that will give us is the ability to house um, three more venomous snakes here, which I'm trying to get completely away from venomous snakes and racks. It was never my idea. It kind of just was one of those things that the animals we we acquired a collection and we weren't prepared for that, but it came up too quick and it was too good of a deal to pass up. So we used the rack, and you can do it in a rack, but I don't like it. And I know a lot of people do it very successfully. The animals are fine, but I don't like it. I don't like opening. I don't like working them in there. So it'll be a lot better situation. And that's my hope too, Dave. Is get a little more depth might keep her from being quite the bitch she is. So that's what we're going to do. But that's where we're headed. So that's kind of the plan and why. And then we'll have a true albino here. We'll have a few different things here. You know, I'm about to move the purple haze back to the zoo and bring my scaleless back. Always want one of them on display, one of them off display, kind of thing. So that's what we're working towards, just for the record of it, so everybody's kind of aware. Give you more things to see when you're here, more things to do an eye on, more noisemakers for me to play with, kind of thing. But nothing too crazy, just handful of rattlesnakes. And then also, if we want to get like a rhino, although we're probably pretty content on non-native venomous species. I mean, the gaboon was honestly the one for me, and the drive to have things like that at home anyway isn't there as much as it was. I would still like a rhino viper. That is really cool. But the Bitis species are probably all it's going to be. I'm probably not going to at home keep anything that's not Bitis. Bitis and Crotalus and Cistrus will probably be the Latin I'm going to be playing with. Crotalus and Cistrus are both different versions of rattlesnakes. And then, you have the Bitis is your rhinos, your gaboons, things like that. And that's kind of where I am on all of those things. But so yeah, the carpet update. Somebody asked for that. Females doing good. Kronos is Kronos. It's kind of hard to sit there and show them because they're not all here yet. But we need to get kind of going on that. You're going to get a proven male from us. What proven male are you thinking about? I'm not sure what you're looking at. And the reason I say that is I don't think we've made any proven males available as far as I can remember. And as far as what proven male to get or what male to get, and here's the thing too, if you're looking at proven males, personally, I would not pay a premium for a proven male. I just wouldn't. An adult male's worth a little bit more than a baby male. It just is, but not a lot. It ain't like females. I mean, I get most of my males ready to go within a year. It just depends on your projects. I mean, it really depends on your projects. Yeah, Wayne, I'm not comfortable with Mambas. They're fast. They're not as predictable. Their strike isn't really any faster than a Diamondback. As a matter of fact, I would almost venture to say the Diamondback strike is probably quicker. Diamondbacks have one of the fastest strikes on the planet. They're nuts. Gaboon strikes are insanely fast, but the Mambas are just they move fast. So rather than sitting in that spot and saying this is mine and that is yours, which the Gaboon's really good about. The Gaboon is going to sit where it's at most time, or it's going to move real slow. And unless you get in this range, you're going to be okay. You can outrun one on foot, but you can't outrun the strike if you're already in range. By the time you process it, it's happened. And that's true across the board with venomous snakes. It's not about strike speed because I don't think there's a human on the planet that can truly have the strike surprise them, process that, and then get out the way. People think they can, and people have had snake miss. Snake will miss, but you're not going to outrun that strike. You're just not going to do it. Now, but the Mambas move all the time. You work them, they're flinging themselves around, they're flying around, they're crawling up hooks. It's a constant movement thing. It's not as dedicated to what you're thinking about and doing what you're thinking about, and that's what kind of freaks me out about Mambas. If I sit with somebody and I learned about them, then maybe. But I just I'd have to kind of have somebody teach me how to do it, and then too, I just don't have the passion for it. And if I don't have the passion for the animal, then I'm less likely to do a good job, and I'm more likely to make mistakes. Whereas with the Bitis and the Crotalus, they just man, they kind of they rev my motor, you know. Like I really get into those things, so it's much easier for me to do a good job with them as opposed to doing a good job with, say, a Lapid. And I've worked a Lapids. I've had to work Cobras before and had to be the primary caretaker of Cobras and shit. And I just, I just don't think it's for me. I did it because it had to be done. I wasn't doing it because, oh man, I really want a Cobra. And that is a problem. So that was kind of the situation. And it wasn't a Cobra that I'd purchased. It was a Cobra I'd kind of been gifted. Not requested, gifted. Just kind of abandoned, for lack of a better word. And so I had it. That was kind of how that happened. Yeah. As far as introducing snakes, I don't. I chase a storm every now and then if it's early in the season. I don't get too bad out of shape about it not breeding right away. And usually we do around Halloween. I'll probably start a few around Halloween, but the vast majority, because late season, will be pushing in November. It's kind of an all-year season at this point for me, unfortunately. But you just put them together. You know what I mean? You just put them together. That's what you do. And they'll do the rest. I mean, they've been figuring this out forever. I mean, running jokes, I put a little Marvin Gaye, I light some candles and walk out of the room. But you don't have to do anything. You just put them together. If the timing's right, it's pretty much all going to be pheromone driven. So if the pheromones are out there, if the scents are out there, they're going to get locks. That's kind of, kind of how it is. They're like, I was going to make a really bad combination, so I'm not going to do that. But they're going to get locks if everything's right. Oh, Tesla, I appreciate that. I do love what I do. And, I think sometimes it's work, but I love it. You want to see the blackhead, Jeremy? Dude, if you want to see blackhead, let me tell you something. Our blackhead. But we literally just shot the other day, an entire video on nothing but blackheads. Where the hell? There's my blackhead. So you're going to get to see a lot of blackhead and blackhead combos here very soon. There is our blackhead right there. She's doing wonderful. She's a great example of blackhead. So I'm really excited to work with her. But man, I'm more excited now about blackhead than I was, because we really got to go play with probably one of the people who's the best with blackhead in the world. Truth be told, see some of the craziest blackhead things that are out there that are coming out. I mean, this guy that we got to go film with, well, I'll tell you all. I'll ruin a surprise, I guess. But when we went Saturday to Kansas City to pick up the game machine we've been talking about for the house, we also spent hours at Tall Grass Reptiles, and we finally got them to let us film there. So one of the things we did, because they're very, very heavily in the blackhead market, they were one of the pioneers of blackhead, is we filmed an episode all about blackhead. So if you kind of harken back when we did some with like Spider and Pastel, we kind of showed the base and we showed like everything it goes into, like combos of it. We did that with blackhead, but we let Reed do it with his blackheads. So we really got a chance to show off some of that. And for you guys on that video, we actually had him save his favorite blackhead. I actually saved two to do the Patreon exclusive. So the YouTube videos get a whole bunch of stuff, and you guys are going to get, his absolute favorite blackhead, and then you're going to see a blackhead project that's currently in the works. So you guys will know what's coming and be able to jump into that shit if you want to kind of have an idea when they're going to have some stuff available that nobody else knows is coming. So, oh yeah, they are very much into blackhead. Blackhead is one of their mainstays. That Blitz, they were one of the first to work with Blitz. They were one of the first to work with blackheads. As a matter of fact, I do believe they ended up with the original blackhead male that came in and was produced. So kind of cool how that works, right? So anyway, you just have to kind of watch that and look for it. I'm telling you, it'll be really cool. Oh me and my Pepsi there. I'm a Coke man, but truth be told, I'm a cheap man until everyone's on sale is what I buy. All right, guys, if you got anything else you want to see, let me know. If not, what I'm probably going to do is hop off here. I got some work to do. I got some computer logging to do. I have a lot of babies I haven't put in the computer yet, and they're going to have any plans with them yet. So I need to do that. And I got one I need to assist feed that's still giving me problems. We might be able to do that on camera. Why don't we? We'll show you that. This is one of your guys' snakes, actually. That is a problem child. So, and what I mean by it's a problem child is it just doesn't want to feed. And since we just had feed night, there's a lot of things that are in there. So we have a rat pink that it did not eat, and we are going to dispatch that. And truth be told, how I do that is I just dump them. I know that's terrible, but it's probably the most effective way. Pretty much quick and instantaneous. And then we have our little snake. This is 1903-06. This one's been one that's been slow. It has eaten on its own a few times, then it won't. So what we got you here, in case you guys have never seen this. I mean, we did do a video on it, but I know it's been a while back. I'll kind of show you how I go about doing that. It's really nothing too crazy. I like to let that thing finish its movements. But when you thump them good and hard like that, as horrible as it is to watch, that's why I didn't actually show it on camera. I probably should have. You crush her skull. I mean, they're like a baby human. There's a soft place in the skull. You're smashing that, and you're causing major brain trauma. It still takes, a bit for everything to shut off, all the nerves. You'll see some convulsions and see some movements, but they're usually pretty rhythmic and systematic, and they're just the system shutting down. So it's, so we're waiting on, but it's feeling no pain. It, for all purposes, is dead. So then what I like to do is get it wet. The moisture is just acting as a lubricant. So then we'll take this little guy here. We'll get him kind of right there. This thing's still swimming his back legs a little bit, but that won't be a problem. And then we'll try to calm that body down as much as we can. We're going to just start the nose. And you can see it's bleeding from its mouth. That's from the trauma we caused in the brain. Come on, open wide. Trying to get that started in there. And it's going to fight me. Ah! Sometimes that happens too. What I mean is it won that round. But the thing isn't about winning a round. It's about winning a war, right? So... and I usually win the war. I will say, if it does kick it out, and in there I was trying to just reposition how I have a hold of it, and it was kind of onto my game. Now we're working really well. Sorry if I'm not providing the best angles. This is just kind of hard to concentrate on the filming aspect, and, whoops, sorry, and not the snake aspect. Get on down there. You know you want to eat this. We're just slowly I like to kind of wiggle back and forth with a little bit of pressure. What I'm trying to do is get it to get its shoulders past the jawbones on the side of the mouth. That tends to be one of your biggest hurdles. Once you got it there, now I can actually feel the head in here. I can kind of pinch that a little bit so it can kind of not come out. We just kind of work. And we work. And sometimes we'll have them clamp down on the meal. If they clamp their mouth down, boom, then in my experience, that is a great sign that they're going to actually take it. So if he were to clamp his mouth down and not have it kind of gaping, then I would put him down and let him finish up. But since he's not doing that, he's got that gaping wide open, trying to kick it out. kick it out, he will if I give him an opportunity. We're doing the same thing. So now we're up to the back legs. And sometimes you get pricked doing this. Sometimes you don't. Yes, this is a normal het female. This is one from our Xanthic clutch. Not from the 19 clutch, but from the Xanthic Zebra B to when I bring them to the pastel. This is one of the ones we missed on everything, but we do know it to be 100% het Xanthic. And then too, another trick is once you're in there a little ways to kind of rub it right through here. Almost like, you know, when you pet your cat underneath the neck, kind of the same type thing. And you're kind of just trying to get it to start to work on down with those muscles. Get those back legs in there. Because he's going to try to force it out, right? Or she. And this should help that not to happen. And you're just making micro progress at this point. But progress, none the same, are all the same. And you can see how tense it is right here. That's it still trying to not do this. It's still not realizing that this is good for it. And so it's flexing those muscles. Those muscles will get tired and they will wear out and let you make progress. As you can see now, you're not seeing any more of the rodent, so progress is certainly being made. We're also not pinching off closed here. We want to make sure the airway stays open. Now we're kind of just tickling it down the body. And there's going to come a point where you'll feel the muscles take over and begin to help you and not fight you. When you get to that point, otherwise you want to kind of keep your fingers here pinched above where the rodent is. That keeps it from going back. And the further down you get, honestly, the easier this gets. Well, it's still working against me right now. But the truth is it's fighting me. It's actually causing more success at this point. The odd thing is, you'd think you'd get bit doing this, which wouldn't be a huge deal. I've literally never had one bite me during this process, at least not on purpose. You are a fighter, though, boy. And we're going to kind of just set her down and watch. If it starts to go back up, then what we'll do is we'll go back to assisting. I'm not going to let it push it back up. If we see that lump, which is positioned right there behind the neck, begin to move down, then we're good. If we don't see anything after a while, then we'll continue to go back to work. Oh, Kevin does it with normals too? Kevin's a big breeder. So, you know, I mean, this animal deserves the same type of care I'd give. Excuse me, my killer bee. And this is one of your animals. This was actually sold to a Patreon member. We went to deliver it in Florida, but it hadn't hit weight. Now, the other one he bought did. This one's just been riding the struggle bus. So I've been doing this with this for a while. And it'll eat a few on its own, then it won't. And then we'll get some more in it because we want to keep it getting up to size and keep it doing the right thing. But really what we're watching now, maybe if I put it over here, you'll be able to see it, but I'm trying not to disturb it. There you can kind of see the lump. And David, I don't right now. I need to put one together. I'm really waiting for this lump to move one direction or the other. They are. You know, and when you took the skin color off, it's the same animal, right? Don't we owe it the same level of care and respect? Um, I think we do. I mean, as a breeder, you do try to avoid. You know what? I think we're going to tout that down a little bit more. You do try to avoid making them, just because of the. Let me do it this way so I can see what I'm showing you. You know, I mean, you have to think about the finances of breeding, but it's, you know, when you do make them, you cannot shy away from them. So now we're still just kind of working it down because he has just not decided that this is a good idea yet. There you can really see it moving. Just kind of working it down. And like I say, we won't do this again next week. But if the snake goes another couple weeks without eating, then we'll be back to putting a small meal in it. Just making sure it gets nourishment. Now in the wild, there we are. I think we've bottomed out. You can see what the thing is. Anyway, kind of where I want it. Now checking on this tomorrow to make sure it didn't regurge will be important. But I'll be honest, I typically don't have that problem after assist feeds. Uh, I don't know if maybe some people do, but we typically do not. So, ugh. Oh man, yeah, Jeremy, I did put a lot of time into a normal what you had last year, and then if I remember right, that was when that prolapsed and everything else, and just it was a struggle, and we tried a lot of things to get that one to survive. It just didn't make it, and that happens. I mean, you know, just like it happened with my snake, it happens with a lot of babies every year. It's a fairly common thing. I don't know what a percent would be. I mean, I would say you may lose 1 to 2%. But if you're doing, and I'm talking of healthy babies, like healthy babies that appear perfectly fine, that there's something going on inside. If you think about human babies, it's not much different. I mean, we don't lose up that percentage of born healthy babies, but typically a human baby, there's so much more care going on. How many of them end up, they go to a full term and they're born and something's not quite right, and they end up in NICU for a little while, and there's constant doctor care or a surgery or something of that nature, and then they get better. Well, we're not going to have that in the snake world, guys. Uh, we just don't, So it is what it is. And yeah, that one was. I remember that snake. That was the worst prolapse I've ever dealt with. I mean, it literally, it was bad. It was bad. So, and you're gonna have those things happen, and it always sucks. It always does. I'm gonna, there's gonna be a point too where our collection's old enough that we'll have regular losses due to age. That's gonna suck. Um, we have enough adults now. We have adults that are getting into double-digit years, that, which doesn't seem like it, but damn, we do. That and you're talking 15 to 20 years is what we got out of these animals. So you got ones that are already getting to that 9 to 12 years old. You're going to start seeing it more often. You are. And with as long term as I plan on being in this business, I know that every animal that I currently have in this room is probably going to pass away on me before I'm done being a breeder. Just due to age. Just due to age. Nothing else but age. And It's a hard thing, but I also I'll replace them with new ones, and we're gonna give them the best life we can give them for as long as we can. And hey, if they make it to a full term life, I can't be upset about that, can I? Like that's now losing Eris that sucked this year, uh, and that was one that you know. So you guys are all on the same page as with me, or knowing what my thought process is. A lot of people on those did wonder why I didn't send that animal off for a necropsy. I'm talking chaos. And I probably didn't do a good job explaining it in the video because when I did that video, that was the first time I'd really inspect. I had opened it before and saw it was dead and set it down and walked away. Just had to take a minute. Like I had to compose myself. And I told Kurt, we're in the middle of filming something. I was like, let's film this. And so that literally was truly right then. Like it was raw emotion. I wanted it to be raw emotion. If I was going to put that out there, I wanted to put it out there exactly how I felt exactly at that time. Maybe that was a good idea. Maybe it wasn't. You know, and but we did that. And my first inclination, just based on the location and how it was laying, like where it was, and seeing the skin on the bull, was the dry drowning. That was my first thought process, and that's where I really thought, man, I'm gonna get hammered because people are gonna say, "Oh, it's because it's a spider in a can of water dish," which really didn't happen. When I saw the green on it, that led me towards more of something internally rupturing, and that's others have commented the same kind of thing, and I'm in agreement now. Whether it was a gallbladder or a stomach or an esophagus, something went south and allowed bile to leak into the animal is the most likely cause of what we're seeing there, because of the greenish color. Blood usually a blackish color, but that green is usually a bile, especially on a white background like that. And I've seen a lot of pooled blood, and I've seen a lot of dead bodies with blood in them that's coagulated, and I'm pretty familiar with that look on a human. I don't expect it to be much different than anything else. It's called lividity. Uh, and that would have been dead long enough to have some lividity to start, but possibly, I mean, it hadn't even gone through full rigor yet when it died. Uh, Rigor being rigor mortis. And the bile leakage, I can't think of that being bacterial or a disease, or it's not anything that's a big scary diseases like nidovirus or any of those things that we worry about that would cause that. And uh, that was it. We didn't even really smell it. I mean, when I opened it, you could smell it a little bit, but it was fresh enough dead. It wasn't bad yet. Now the bile leaking causes that odor to come a little quicker, to be honest. But it wasn't. You know, I'm not gonna tell you I've never had like. There's a lot of times here, especially feeding babies, we'll feed them small enough things that we can just leave in there for a few days. And I tend to do that. And I have had rodents die that way. I've had them kill things and leave it. And so I have gotten the joy of the funky smell. I've also checked them like, oh, you're eating. And then, the next milk is 2 days later and it didn't eat. It just wrapped it, killed it. And I just saw it wrap and kill it and left it on the hot part of its cage. That smells, and you can kind of know that's going on when you walk in the reptile house, right? That's why I keep scented candles. But that's also kind of just part of it. It just is. All right, guys, we've been at about 48 minutes, but I guess what I was getting at, why itself into necropsy. So I didn't send that one off because I wasn't worried about it being a disease that could move through being there. Now, when Eris died, I honestly didn't know what killed her. My thought process is it's most likely something to do with uh, having her first set of eggs. That happened. We never really got back on food, and we died. And I mean, I don't think it was starvation death. I don't think that was it. But I think it was just something with that. I don't know if something went south inside. I don't know what. But I also couldn't rule out it being some type of disease that I should be worried about. So what I did with that animal is I did take her. I still have her. I put her in the freezer. So she's in a box in the freezer. She's frozen solid. And the reason for that is I wanted to hold on to her for a while and see if I had anything else pop up. So like if we had something else die or we started seeing some issues, then I wanted to send her off as kind of the typhoid Mary, I guess, which is what you'd call it, to see what it was, so I could start working to save the majority of my collection. I mean, and when you get a disease, you're going to lose a few things quite possibly. It just is. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with that. Why we didn't, and just so you guys know, if we thought we had an issue, we would. We've been in that position now where we've saved one to do so if needed. But we wanted to see if it was an isolated event first, and that's proven so far to be an isolated event. I'm actually about to let a taxidermist purchase that animal from us for making something. Well, her skin can go to make something, you know, and yeah. Oh, I will release Clutch 9 sometime, but I'm not sure when yet. It's still got to go through a few other clutches first. And tail tucking, the tail, what I mean is it's in the middle. And so, like, she's got her tail in the middle, which is where the eggs are going to be laid. She's going to keep them all together. There tends to be in the middle a lot when they're getting close. So, yeah, and David, you mentioned the reptile house was cool, but you don't see Question Girl as much. That is not due to the reptile house, at least I don't think. I think that's mostly due to the fact that she is like me and the fact that she takes on more than she can do sometimes. And that's a problem we both have. So, beginning of the school year, she's got a class she's dealing with. She's also back taking classes herself to get her national board certification. And then she's also the president of her union. So she is very, very busy. She's always invited. I try to feature her as much as I can because I know people do like to see her. Some people do. But she's got her own shit going on. So that's part of it. That's a big part of the reason why we don't get to see her as much. But I will pass on that message because sometimes when she hears that, then she'll make some effort to be involved. Because I do like to have her involved. I do think that it's important. But that's just me. So, all right, guys. Oh, one other thing I think we're gonna do. So I'm gonna make an email address. Well, I gotta get with the person who's helping the t-shirts. My suggestion then is going to be we make an email address. And they can use that email address. It's solely for t-shirts. You guys can email them your information. They'll put together a list, send it to me, and then I can just distribute it out. That's how I think we're going to do that. We got the Discord up. I still got to learn how to use it, and we'll be putting that stuff out too. I got to learn how to link it to Patreon, but that is up and going. Has tiers built in, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to have that for a forum to post stuff on and communicate through as well to hopefully help all of that. So we are trying slowly but surely to make this experience even better. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for everything you do, and we will see you next week. Something I missed? Oh, yeah. Oh, everybody says they missed seeing her. I will pass that all on for sure.